Get over here, quickly! Come on!
March 23rd, 1945, Dock 7, Southampton Port. Thick mist wrapped the cranes as Private James Curran stood guard over 47 coffins bound for the USS General MHG. Exhausted after 72 hours awake, he monitored the loading of America's fallen soldiers. Curran, 19, from South Boston, had processed thousands of bodies. Death was familiar to him. As cranes lifted coffin number 23, he noticed a subtle shift. He dismissed it at first, blaming fatigue and routine cargo movement. Seconds later, the coffin moved again, rocking unnaturally mid-air. Curran froze. He knew corpses didn't move like that. His instincts sharpened as unease replaced exhaustion. Something was deeply wrong with coffin number 23. The crane operator continued unaware. Curran stepped forward and ordered a halt. Workers stared as the sergeant approached, irritated. Curran requested permission to inspect the coffin, trusting his gut despite lacking solid proof. Reluctantly, the sergeant allowed it. The coffin was lowered. Curran knelt, pressing his ear to the wood. At first, nothing but silence. Then faint scratching, followed by a weak voice speaking German, begging for water. Shock hit instantly. Curran stood back, shaken. "Someone is alive inside," he whispered. The sergeant's expression changed to horror. Around them, workers sensed something was wrong as tension spread across the dock. Ordered to open it, Curran pried the lid. A foul smell escaped. Inside were two terrified German girls, dehydrated and barely alive. No soldier, no remains, just human beings hidden inside a military coffin. The discovery stunned everyone. 47 coffins had been scheduled for transport. If one contained living cargo, others might too. The scale of what they uncovered began to sink in, bringing fear and urgency. Before action could continue, Lieutenant Marcus Webb intervened, gun drawn. He ordered Curran to reseal the coffin, calling it a classified operation. His tone made it clear he was willing to kill to keep it secret. Realizing the truth, Curran refused. He fired shots into the air, alerting authorities. Chaos erupted as MPs rushed in. Webb fled but was captured. Curran's decision exposed a hidden operation far darker than anyone imagined. MPs swarmed Dock 7 immediately after the shots. Lieutenant Webb was tackled and restrained while shouting about classified orders. Curran pointed out Webb's involvement as chaos spread across the dock, and the operation collapsed into emergency response. Military police began opening the remaining coffins one by one. What was expected to be a shipment of fallen soldiers became a crime scene. As seals were broken, more hidden compartments and irregular weights were discovered across multiple coffins. Inside several coffins, more girls were found, some conscious, some barely alive. The horrifying scale became clear. Eventually, investigators confirmed at least 10 additional girls were trapped within the shipment alongside ballast sandbags. One coffin revealed tragedy. A 15-year-old Margaret Steinbach from Berlin was found dead. She had suffocated, her hands torn from scratching the inside wood. Her death confirmed the worst fear. This operation had already killed. Within hours, higher command arrived. A Colonel Harrison with steel-grey hair took control of the scene. He quickly assessed the situation, ordering full lockdown and classified handling of all evidence and survivors. The two girls from Coffin 23 were removed for medical treatment. One, Greta Hoffman, weakly squeezed Curran's hand before being taken away. Her silent gratitude marked the first emotional relief amid the unfolding horror. Colonel Harrison explained the gravity. This was not a single incident, but part of a larger trafficking network. He warned Curran that exposing it publicly could destroy military credibility during wartime operations. Despite moral urgency, Harrison emphasized secrecy. He stated that investigations would continue under classification. Survivors would be protected but silenced, and the truth would be hidden for national security reasons. By afternoon, Dock 7 had transformed completely. Ambulances, MPs, and investigators filled the area. The remaining coffins were sealed for inspection, and early evidence suggested the operation extended beyond this single shipment. In a hospital room nearby, Greta Hoffman began her testimony. Captain Sarah Morrison and Agent Robert Kellerman questioned her. Karan remained close, as she was shaken but ready to reveal how she ended up inside a coffin. Greta Hoffman explained she and Elsa Weber were approached at a displaced persons camp by a man called Corporal Miller. He promised them jobs in America as housekeepers and presented letters, photos, and official-looking documents to gain trust. The recruitment appeared legitimate. Miller showed contracts, stamps, and photographs of girls who supposedly had already traveled successfully. Greta believed it was a safe passage out of post-war Germany into a better life in America. Greta described receiving $200 advance payment and being told refugee transport rules required secrecy. They were assured they would be safely delivered to families in the United States under a special relocation program. On the night of transport, both girls were given injections at a military station. Greta remembered waking in complete darkness, unable to move, hearing nails being hammered above her. They realized too late they were inside coffins. Panic followed. They screamed until their voices gave out. But the coffin was already sealed. Greta recounted hearing soldiers joke during loading, treating the shipment as routine cargo bound for American cities. One voice mentioned Brooklyn and payments per head. Greta realized the truth. They were not being relocated, but sold. The operation was organized, profitable, and hidden beneath military transport systems. Investigators expanded the case immediately. Records showed hundreds of coffins shipped over months. Many had weight discrepancies dismissed as normal. The scales suggested a widespread trafficking network operating under military logistics. Evidence pointed to multiple officers. Lieutenant Webb controlled dock operations. Others handled paperwork, forged death certificates, and manipulated manifests to disguise living cargo as fallen soldiers. A ledger recovered from Webb revealed payments of $500 per girl, with names, destinations, and delivery records. It confirmed at least 67 successful transfers and a structured, profit-driven system. As arrests began, investigators searched for the mastermind known only as the Colonel. No direct identity existed, only fear-based references. Every suspect either denied knowledge or claimed he controlled the operation from above. Investigations expanded rapidly as FBI units conducted coordinated raids across multiple U.S. cities. Several locations tied to Webb's records were discovered, revealing victims who had been moved through the same hidden transport system linked to the coffins. One survivor, Heidi Schroeder, gave testimony describing deception after being promised legitimate work in America. Instead, she was placed into a controlled environment and subjected to prolonged abuse and intimidation designed to keep her silent. Raids in Boston and Philadelphia uncovered additional survivors in guarded residences. However, several listed names led to empty or false addresses, suggesting those individuals had been relocated again or had disappeared without trace. Some victims were found working as domestic laborers in private households. The families involved claimed they believed everything was legal, having been processed through official-looking agencies and paperwork that appeared authentic. Military interrogations revealed a structured network involving payments, forged documentation, and coordinated transport roles. Multiple soldiers admitted participation, confirming the operation was systematic rather than isolated misconduct. Despite arrests, the identity of the colonel remained unresolved. Every suspect referred to him as a higher authority, issuing instructions indirectly, creating fear but leaving no verifiable trace of his identity. Investigators proposed several theories: a senior military officer, a civilian criminal organizer, or a symbolic name used to conceal multiple leaders. The true identity remained unknown despite extensive intelligence efforts. As the war neared its end, pressure increased to contain the scandal. Military leadership prioritized secrecy, arguing that public disclosure could damage morale and overshadow wartime achievements. General Eisenhower was briefed on the findings. He approved full prosecution of those involved, but ordered the case to remain classified, restricting public access to protect national stability during wartime. Private Karan was promoted and sworn to lifelong secrecy. Survivors were relocated and protected, but the full story was sealed in military archives. The truth remained hidden for decades, known only to those directly involved.